Hello and welcome. Although I'm 3 minutes early, I think that's not a problem and people will just start to trigger in here. Welcome to today's live stream where I will be painting stuff with my airbrush and focusing on the Kursk group build that is being hosted by Cohen C and Nigel Wells, and the martyr that I built for their group build will be the centerpiece of what I'll be doing today. But before I can focus on this, I still first have to matte coat the Stug. And if you guys remember correctly, this is the Stug that I did on the last live stream when I did the chipped paint scheme. And when I did this, I actually said that I would be doing a green camo scheme on top of the dark yellow, and I've decided against it, and I decided to just go with the dark yellow because I like the look of this. I like the look of this a lot, and I gloss coated this off camera. I gave it a wash with AK Interactive's dark brown wash, actually for green vehicles, but I think it came out really nicely. Did a pin wash around all the rivets and the weld seams and all those small things, and I really like the look of this, and I hope you guys can actually see some of it and you can see the shine. And before I'll spray and prime the modder, I just want to treat this to a matte coat. So I want to spray the matte varnish through the airbrush first, so no residue of the primer or anything is stuck in the airbrush when I prime the modulator. And if I do it this way around, like first the matte coat on this and then the primer on the other one, I think this is a better thing. But before we start, I have a couple of announcements to make regarding my YouTube channel and going forward in the future. Yesterday morning, I got an email, and from what I can tell on Twitter, a lot of people have gotten that email that YouTube is changing their partner program terms of use. And starting on February 20th, they are rescinding the partnerships of YouTube channels, and thus ending the possibility of monetization of YouTube videos. And apparently, you have to meet certain thresholds to still be considered worthy of YouTube's partnership, which are 1,000 subs and I think 40 hours of. No, wait, it's more than 40 hours. 4,000 hours of view time on your videos. And while I clearly have reached a sub threshold of 1,000 subs, there's still the issue of 400,000 minutes, 4,000 minutes, hours, god damn it, of view time. See, I'm totally confused by this because it's just ridiculous if you ask me. And I think I'm at 234,000 minutes, which is roughly 6 hours short. Uh, no, I'm short a considerable amount here, and thus will probably have my status rescinded on February 20th, which will of course have some negative effects on my channel, because I will no longer be able to do live streams like I'm doing right now, because you need to be in the partner program to be able to do YouTube live streams. I won't be able to have thumbnails in my video, like pop-up windows pop up and all sorts of things. Of course, I won't be able to monetize my videos, which, while I do not make much money, I still make enough in half a year to at least pay for one kit, which I also always thought was quite nice to kind of regrow the stash when I build a model. Since that's gone, starting February 20th, I have to make changes to my channel because, like I said, if I can't do live streams anymore, I have to come up with a different way of producing content. And since time is scarce, like really scarce for me right now, and I don't have much time to edit videos, this will probably result in me doing even less videos than I already do. And I hope that the wind is not too irritating outside. It's rather windy in Central Europe right now. So yeah, we'll see what happens going forward, and I hope that I can keep my channel up. But YouTube is really making it tough for smaller channels and niche channels like modeling channels to exist unless you're like one of the big ones like Hamilcar Barkas, QDC, Panzermeister 36, those channels that have like massive subscriber following and have like massive clicks. And like I said, I've over 2,500 subs. I reached that threshold earlier this week, but still I'm not able to generate enough minutes of view time to meet the threshold. So yeah, it's messed up. But anyways, let's focus on the styrene ahead, and let's focus on this Stug. And this is the Bodo Sprans Stug, and it was a pleasure to build, and I think I talked a bit about this on the video when I painted the dark yellow and did the hair spray chipping, or actually fluid chipping. And I really love the kit. It's a really good kit. If you ever have the chance to pick it up, just pick it up. Just like almost all of the Dragon Stugs. Don't buy the Imperial Serials ones. Those are not the good Stugs to get, but the late, like, starting in 2006, 7, those Stugs are great. You cannot go wrong with those Stugs. And, yeah. This will get, once this varnish is dried, like, early next week. I was at the varnish dry for a long time. It will get dust and pigments and mud and streaks and rust and all sorts of things, and then this thing will probably be finished rather quickly. Although I did not manage to finish it in the time that I had allotted for it, but you know, that's me. There are other things in life that are important, and sometimes you just don't get around to do what you set out to do in time. So, once again, using my Infinity. This time we're spraying the 8K Interactive Ultra Matte Varnish, and I've tried a couple of varnishes. I think I've tried the Vallejo one, I've tried the Revell one, and all the varnishes that I use are acrylic, and this so far is by far the best, so I'm using this. Once again, fair warning, the compressor is next to the phone, so if you're easily irritated by loud noises, just a heads up. If you're using headphones, just a heads up, it might be a bit loud once the compressor kicks in. And other than that, what you want to do with the varnish, you want to shake it real good. And then you want to apply it in thin layers. You don't want to flood your model, because otherwise you might get frosting, which looks horrible. Or you might get pooling on details, which also isn't what you want. And then you want to hold your airbrush at a distance and then just very evenly cover your model with the varnish. And today I'll try to keep the model a bit better, in-shot better than I did on the last video. I actually marked my cutting mat, or actually spraying mat here, just so I can do a better job of keeping this in shot, because I had a bunch of comments after the last video that I had the kit out of shot quite a bit, so I'm trying to improve. That's why I always say, if you have any feedback, let me know, please, and I would like to hear it. Apparently today, we don't have as many viewers live, but I hope that you guys watch this on playback and on demand on YouTube, and you get something out of this. And since I'm not doing this for me, but I'm doing this for you guys, I hope to just show you guys how I do this, and a lot of people have asked me how I build a model and how I paint stuff and how I weather stuff. try to show as much as I possibly can in those live streams. Like I said, I can't film at all times because I don't want to film if my girlfriend's around and she's watching TV, because that might just get irritating in the background to have the TV running and me talking over. And yeah, this is just like if you have a partner or a roommate, you just have to make some concessions, and you can behave like an asshole. You just need to try and be considerate, and I'm doing just that. So that's why I can't do much when she's at home, at least not on camera. I do modeling when she's at home. That's how this got to the point where it is right now, because I did this over the weekend. I did chipping and streaking, the washes, and picked out some of the details on camera. You want to give a bit more care to the areas where you have decals, because you don't want them to silver, so. It seems like the airbrush is now empty. All the paint has been sprayed, and I think we have reached full coverage. So that's good. So now I'll just quickly run a bit of airbrush cleaner through the airbrush to just get rid of some of the varnish. It's really, really windy outside in Europe, and I hope wherever you guys are, you're safe and you don't have to deal with as bad and windy conditions as I do. So, yeah. Hey, Seb. Be safe on the roads, buddy. Be safe on the roads. Alright. Now, that could go over here. And I'll introduce this one. This is the mortar that I've built for the Kursk group build. And construction is 99.9% done. The only thing that I need to add, and I will be adding this after paint, is I removed all of the hinges here for the tarp, the fighting compartment cover tarp, because I have decided to, once again, like I always do, add a tarp because I messed up some of the interior work. And I intended to paint the interior before completing the assembly of the kit, but the kit fit was so bad, especially on the sidewalls of the fighting compartment, that I had to glue them down just in order to line up other parts. Otherwise, this would just, like, I would have never gotten this far. So I had to glue them in place, which basically makes it impossible to detail paint the interior and focus on the interior when painting. After that, I had another mishap when I glued this side panel on wrong and had to remove it, thus damaging the radio system and the radio rack. Now, the radio rack is now floating within the fighting compartment, which basically looks weird, and I don't want this to be seen. So I will be covering most of the fighting compartment with a tarp. Actually, I've got the tarp right here. This is basically the cloth that you get from opticians when you buy glasses. And this will be going over the top in a way that you can basically see into the fighting compartment from the back, and this is not cut into shape or in any way, shape, or form the way it will look. But you will be able to see inside from the back, but there will be crew inside, so you won't be able to basically see where I messed up. That's basically why I did it the way I did it. And I had to glue on other parts because, again, you couldn't move on with this unless you put them on. So what we are going to do is we are going to use Steiner's primer to prime the mortar today, and then once the primer is dry, which luckily is a rather quick process, we will again spray German Chem Black Brown from Vallejo Mall, color thin, over the primer to represent our primer base. I might be adding a bit more drops of red because the 1943 Kursk vehicles had a rather reddish primer underneath their base color. So we might be adding a bit of a reddish tint to the Chem Black Brown to simulate the late war or mid-war primer color of red. So we'll see how that goes. So let's fill up our airbrush with primer, and then let's spray some primer, I think. And it's really sunny outside, and you can see actually the sun reflecting in here right now because the sun is like directly over there. So if you're irritated by that, let me know and I'll just lower the blinds. And then, like we did on the last one, we want to be covering this in thin layers. I want to have very even coverage all over our model. You can be a bit less deliberate with the Steiner's because it's very forgiving primer. And it has great tendencies. And here we see why I wanted to leave all those parts off of the superstructure so I could paint them off the model. Because it's a pity to get into all those corner areas within the fighting compartment, but I kind of have to make do now. Again, like I said earlier, I'll try to keep it in shot. If I happen to get out of shot, please tell me. I'll try to put it back in shot. I gotta tell you guys, I've enjoyed this live streaming of videos and builds. So it would make me pretty sad if, because of the YouTube guideline changes, I will not be able to do those live streams anymore. Because this has been the best way for me to get my content out to you guys. So, you know, it would be a shame. So, like, really be a shame to me not to be able to do these anymore. And right now it looks as if I can't. So I'll try to get over the threshold of 4,000 hours, but if I can't, and I'm not gonna. I've seen people actually beg for subs, and I don't have to do that because I actually meet the subscribable threshold. It's the views threshold, and I'm not gonna ask you guys to rewatch videos of me that you've already watched because I don't see any good use for that. So I'm gonna be trying to put out some content up until the cutoff date, and maybe I can get the views that way. If I can, well, tough luck, I guess. I'll have to see how I can put out my content, because like I said, those live streams are very important to me right now, because they're the best way for me to put out as much and as comprehensive content as possible. And it's not so much about the AdSense. I don't care about the AdSense. I care more about the features that go with being a YouTube partner. Because if you want to grow your channel, it's helpful if you have access to those features. And having them taken away because of... And the reason for why YouTube has made these changes is that they are afraid that niche channels, like terrorist channels and political channels that are racist, get too much reach. And I think it's ridiculous. I think it's okay to want to patrol and police those type of channels, but to take away from other channels and other small content creators just because you have no way, or you haven't figured out a way to police channels as to what their content is, I think that's bad. And it makes me sad that a big corporation like Google is not able to find the bad channels and prohibit them from having access to the partner program, while still allowing the good channels or the... So, I hope none of you guys have actually received this email from YouTube if you have a channel and you are producing content, because like I said, I think it's a bad way to deal with your small content creators. And from what I can see on the internet, a lot of people are actually now deciding to leave YouTube for Twitch, for example. And, well, Twitch is not an option for me because I'm not live streaming like video games. I think that that's a problem that YouTube has created for themselves. Why would people stay on YouTube if all they do is kick out small creators while basically just amping up their big-time creators who post videos about dead people hanging from trees on YouTube and get money for that? So, I don't know. And I know that there has been big outrage about this video, but still YouTube has not finally distanced itself from it. I don't know. I don't think it's cool. I gotta say though, that Martyr is such a small vehicle. I thought it would be so much bigger when I bought it. And I was like, okay, that's small. Alright, we've reached 5 viewers now. That's cool. Hello, 6. Wow, cool. Hey guys. Thank you for joining me on this live stream today. Thanks for finding the time to pop in and say hi and watch me butcher this kid with the airbrush. Like I said in the last video, I am not a good airbrush painter. I'm trying to improve, and luckily, priming is something that's luckily not too hard. Oh yeah, gotta use that, Adam. Gotta use that. Gotta use the Steiner arrays. I'm just using what I have, you know. And for me, it's actually easier to source it that way. Or it was easier to source it that way until Ammo came out with the one-shot primer. Than to actually buy like the original Badger stuff, because I can only source the Badger stuff from the UK, and the guy that sells it is really expensive and really tries to fleece continental Europeans on the shipping, because he basically first charges you UK shipping and then he adds on the continental Europe shipping on top. So it's not like he is deducting the UK shipping from the price, but no, he's actually charging you for shipping twice. Which is a cool thing, I think, for him. Not for his customers so much, I don't know. How is things in Wisconsin, I ask? Knowing that you're probably under a lot of snow. Okay, I feel you. That's bad. It's just windy here. No snow, luckily. It's actually warm. It's like 12 Celsius right now. The storm has brought warmer temperatures, although it was actually supposed to bring snow, but the region where I live has not seen any snow. I think the last snow that we had was like before Christmas, well before Christmas, actually. So yeah, pretty happy here. No, I missed Seb's fun fact. I need to go back and watch what Seb said for a fun fact there. What did you say, Sebastian? Okay. That's too bad, I guess. Like I said, the one-shot primer should be the same thing. So, since I can get this over here in Germany without having to pay shipping from the UK, I will be sourcing the one-shot primer in the future, I guess. So, that's where I will get my primer from. Almost done with the tank, and once the tank is done, we'll paint the gun. Yep. Since I still have some, I'm gonna use this till this is like used up, and then I'll see where I can source it for the least money. Because the primer is good. Steiner is a good primer. Don't get me wrong. It's a really, really good primer. I really dig the primer. Alright, with that, now it's on to the gun. Since it will allow me to paint the gun breech better, I'll just quick install the gun. And then I can paint the interior of the gun easier. Now I touched the paint, that's a good thing. That's a good question, Adam. That's a good question, and I don't know the answer to that question. Don't you even mention this! If you want to live, don't mention this. I watched the game, and I was sure they had won the game at that point. Like, I think everybody in the world was sure that was winning the game and was pretty sure, And then, yeah, Marcus Williams decided he does not want to tackle. Because the only thing he needed to do at this point was just tackle him. Time was up. Game over. He tackles him inbounds. Game over. And he doesn't. And I was really sad at him. Sorry. I was really, really sad. Yeah. But I could ask you, how about them Packers, right? Told you, you're a Packers guy. If you are a guy, you shouldn't be rooting for the Vikings. That's for sure. All right, we have painted it. Let's use our airbrush cleaner. Which is totally not on brand. Which is totally not a problem. Because it actually works a treat. And it's readily and easily sourceable in Germany. And I don't have to pay shipping that's higher than the actual cost of the product that I want to get. Which, for order from the UK, basically has. You buy a £6 bottle of cleaner, and you pay £10 shipping, which is insane. So no. If I can avoid it, I do avoid it. And in general, I'm one of the people is get the stuff that you like from where you like. If it works for you, it's totally fine for me. I'm not gonna tell anybody to get stuff just because I like stuff or I don't like stuff. So if you like the stuff that you get from wherever you get it, totally fine with that. Sun is shining. Oh God, it's oh my God. I can see the sun on my screen there. I'm gonna lower the blinds in a second so I can actually show you guys something and you're not blinded by the sun. So I'll be right back. Just imagine some elevator music right now. I'm back! Woo! I took the opportunity that I had to just clean my hands real quick. Let's see if any one of you has been... Yeah, Chalky, I need a job, that's true. I do not disagree with you on that one. I absolutely do not disagree with you. The good thing about the Steiner S Prima, though, is the very, very short drying time, which I will be taking advantage of here in a second, because I think this will take about half an hour to dry, and after half an hour, I will be able to actually paint the base coat on the model. So, let me quickly move this out of the way and get the Stuk back so we can look at the Stuk. And see whether or not we did cover everything that needed coverage. Right, over there. Yep. There you go. The Stug that we had been working on for a second here. While most of you guys weren't watching, I painted this Stug. Or actually, I painted, but I matte coated this with the ultra matte varnish. And from what I can tell, most of it is covered now, and the look of it is quite nice. I like it. And the decals have stopped silvering, which is great. Once they are weathered, that's not a problem anymore. That's good as well. Yeah, I like this. Anyway, how about you guys? How about you tell me how your builds for the Kursk group have come along so far, if you are actually in the builds, what you are building, issues that you've that you've come across while building them. Just some conversation here while we wait for the paint to dry. I could, however, or could I? Yeah, I could do the review that Sepp was asking for. Shut up, Sepp. Come on. Come on, shut up. Don't be an asshole. I know it's hard because it's in your nature, but for once, don't be one. I could take the opportunity to take a look at the other kit that I'm planning on entering in this group build. So Sepp cannot be on my case anymore because he is always bitching and moaning that I haven't done the review that I promised him to do. Anyways, this is the kit. It's a Panzer III Aus M with side skirts and short barrel Panzer III. Not like with a stub gun, but with the short, like 7.5. Actually, no, it's not the short, it's the long one. Just looks short on the box art. It's the long one. It's the long one here, and it's not the 7.5, it's the... I don't know, Adam, you tell me. You know better than I. It's a nice kit, that, for sure. Alright, it's a 50 mil. Yeah. It's not 5mm, Seb. If that was a 5mm gun, I think the Russians would have laughed at the Germans, like, 5mm gun? It's even smaller than a machine gun. Woo, fun. No, it's a 50. Yeah, right, it's the 50 mil. Yeah. It's a beautiful kit. It is actually the one that has the weighting muffler on it, which is similar to the Aus M with weighting muffler that I've built on the channel and I've reviewed on the channel. It's just that the turret has side skirts and the tank has side skirts, and there's some other small modifications to the tank as well. But other than that, it's basically just the M that I did a review of. So I'm not entirely sure whether or not I want to do a full box review. Ahaha, ahaha. Anyways, yeah. I'm not sure whether I want to do a full box review of this, and until I start with this, there's still some time to ponder whether or not I want to review this or not. I'm actually trying to focus on one, max 2 builds at a time, so since this is still on the bench for at least a couple of more days or weeks, and the mortar is still on the bench, and the Panzer III can wait. So what will happen with this is once the varnish dries, I will be using pigment as well as this dry mud product, Mud in a Pot, dry mud and foliage light, from Reality and Scale, which is like a really small pot, and really expensive for a small pot like this. I think it's like an €8 pot for like, it's smaller than a paint bottle, so that should tell you how big it is. But the product is actually quite nice, and I've started on the low I have over here, since I don't need to varnish the lower hull because I didn't gloss coat it. Yes, I pay for pigment, and I pay for mud products. Yes, I do. I'm sorry, Adam. I'm sorry. I'm too lazy to go outside. And I have all the MIG pigments sitting on a shelf over here. So yeah, I'll be using the MIG pigment. And no, he doesn't. He only sends you free stuff. And Evan. And Carlos. No, I haven't received anything from him. I haven't asked either, so yeah. And I don't think he knows me, so I'm good. I don't need free Wilder stuff. No, and I have an assortment of different brands, and I also have the AK Splatter Effects Mud, and I want to try this, but I don't think this is a vehicle that will have wet mud on it, so I don't think I'll be using this for this one. Alright, let's move this back over here. Let's bring back the mortar. And have this sit here while it dries. It's a smallish vehicle. Look at the size difference here between a mortar and a Stug. And the Stug isn't a big vehicle either, but look at this. It just dwarfs it. Just dwarfs it. The chassis is longer. The only thing that's longer on the mortar is the gun. And then again, yeah, a tank destroyer should probably have a bigger gun than a Stug. I like the look of the mortar. I did not like the kit much though. I like the primer. The primer is really good. It sets so flat. It dries flat. It doesn't pool. It is so smooth. It's just so smooth. It dries so quick. And it dries rock solid and really hard. And it's probably the best acrylic primer on the market, at least from the ones I've used so far. And it doesn't matter if you get like the original Steinerres from Badger in a Badger bottle, if you get the rebranded versions of it, be it UMP or ammo. And yeah. Beautiful. Cannot fold it one bit. But like I said, I want to have it at least set a bit before I start with the primer color of the vehicle. So let's use the time to clean our airbrush. Yep. I've been asked about how I clean my airbrush, so why not just demonstrate it, although it's not witchcraft or anything, it's just taking it apart and cleaning it. It's just taking it apart and cleaning it. Here's this. I am not an expert on guns, I have to say, and on size of guns and what have you. I need to do some more reading. Yeah, I have Wilder Dark Rust Effects, Stony Light Brown Textured Earth, and Dark 10 Filter. And to be honest, the Dark 10 Filter is probably the worst product that I've ever used. It just reacts with every matte coat that I've ever used it on. It just goes really weird. It just just no. And I like the Dark Rust Effects. It smells to high heaven, and I told Adam that because he is probably using that cheap lighter fluid as his thinning agent, so that's not a good thing. And yeah, but other than that, that's all the products that I have from Wilder. I gave it a shot, and I was not too impressed with it. I was not too impressed with it, to be honest. Now we're using a micro brush to take out the paint residue from outside of the airbrush. From outside of the airbrush, right? From inside the airbrush, just to make sure that we remove all the paint that has added up inside. All right, that looks good. Then we use our pointy Q-tips, and I stole them from my girlfriend. And then clean this a bit more. Always handy to have Q-tips as well as kitchen towel on your bench, no matter if you're painting or not, because they always have handy usage. And yeah, it's always good to have that in case you spill something or what have you. In case you want to. And Q-tips, especially the pointy ones, are really good to remove excess wash if you apply a pin wash, or if you apply a sludge wash on surfaces and you want to take off it off this top surface and just have it in the crevices. Q-tips, especially the pointed ones with the flat end, are great for that because they allow you a bit more control than normal Q-tips, I think. This has turned into the Q-tip talk. Oh, crazy. Always want to clean the color cup as well. There never was a bet. And if there was, maybe you won, but we never bet on, like, we never set up any parameters around what bet for or on, so. And life gets in the way. And in contrast to others, I like spending time with my missus when I'm home. And not just sit on the bench all the time. Every day. Yeah, she does. She's at work right now. But you do know that even though I'm at home currently, it there are things that need to be done, like dishes, laundry, vacuum cleaning the apartment, taking out the trash, taking care of the rabbits, all that stuff just doesn't like handle itself. So yeah, while I'm at home right now, and while I'm staying home right now until teacher training starts, still doesn't mean I'm not doing anything but modeling all day long. Every day. That's a concept that probably you haven't heard of, but and again, who am I to judge? Smells like window cleaner. Alright. Right. That's why I'm getting out of the bed at like 7 every morning, because that's hard. Ah, Sep. Poor soul. I feel for you. I feel for you, buddy. And once we have cleaned the airbrush manually, you always want to give it a little flush with some of the cleaner. Just to make sure that whatever paint residue we have in there that we just loosened gets flushed out. Alright, airbrush is clean again. Awesome. I like that. Now, let me see how far along the drying process on the primer has come. No. Needs a couple more minutes. Alright, let's quickly talk about yeah, the farts were felt. Yeah, always excuses, Sep. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So sorry. You're such a lovely fella. Gotta give that to you. Such a lovely fella. Okay. No, there's some scratches. I don't like those scratches. Anyways, let's start with the fun, right? Applying the primer color with model color German Chem Black Brown. Because again, I want to do hairspray or fluid chipping on this because I like the results that I've achieved over the last couple of builds with that method, and why change it if it's working? I always want to thin the model air colors really well because they are not designed to be airbrushed. But with the right thinning ratio, they actually airbrush pretty decent. Still a bit too thick. Oh, that's better. Alright, let's see. And again, like with all the paints that we airbrush, we want to get a nice, even coverage. We try not to spray it on our tools, but only the tool clamps. Because while the tools might have been painted in the color of the vehicle, they were not primed in the primer color of the vehicle. I gotta tell you, the model color paints spray like a treat if you have them thinned really well. Really beautiful. Get a really nice, smooth result with them as well. Always want to keep our needle tip paint free, so I always like have a Q-tip handy. I dip in a bit of thinner and just clean the needle. With this martyr, I want to represent a really, really war-scarred vehicle. This is going to be chipped really heavily, so we really want to make sure that our coverage of the primer color underneath is really well, so we have it everywhere. it's going to be like one of those war veteran vehicles that has seen a lot of combat on the Eastern Front, and thus is really heavily chipped. The paint is really worn. On the lower areas, we can actually go so far as to leave it in the primer color and just chip the black spoiler that we just sprayed underneath. Because thanks to the darkness of the and the shades that we get underneath, this will add a nice little variation. And then, of course, our gun needs paint as well. And like we did earlier, we can now just mount the gun. This makes it easier for us just to paint the inside of it. Right, got mounted. We do want to, of course, keep in mind that our gun barrel would have the gun barrel primer, which is a dark black color. So we do not want to spray the brownish color over the gun barrel. We're almost done, guys, and this is almost the end of the video here. I only want to really make sure to cover all of the areas of the model and not forget anything that we then have to deal with later on, which would be bad because we don't want to do this later on. Very smooth paint finish, I gotta say. I like the way the model air color spray, the model color spray when it's done properly. Alright, that is all the paint used. And as you can see, I hope it picks it up, we have a nice brownish camel color on our model now. This now will get to set overnight. I will leave this to dry overnight. And then tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, maybe the day after tomorrow, we'll see when I come around to do this. I will do similarly to what I've done with the Stuck in applying a coat of the shipping medium over the top, and once that's dry, I'll apply our base color of dark yellow mid-war 1943 color over the top, and then just take it off with water, brushes, cocktail sticks, maybe even a sponge, depending on how rough I want the chipping to be. And since I want this to be really, really, really heavily chipped, we'll see how I actually get the best results of the chipping. So, at this point, I think we can end the broadcast and end the live stream. And again, I thank all of you for joining me and all of you for watching. And I hope to see you guys around in... what the hell? In future live streams as well. And I hope to have shown you guys something that you might use for your own builds. And until we see us again, this has been me, Hollywood Modeling. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys soon. And always remember, the Force is with you. Bye for now.